Hey ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the channel. As always, it is Nick here, back with your daily crypto news and analysis. And today we're going to be talking about Ripple and XRP, so let's just dive in and let's talk about a few things. So I have a ton of things to go over in this video. The first thing I want to talk to you guys a little bit about is this price chart from Credible Crypto comparing Bitcoin to the SPX. And we actually do see here, during our last two major market corrections, Bitcoin bottomed 2 to 3 weeks before the SPX did. Over this last week, the SPX has made new lows while Bitcoin holds its ground. Nice to see the strength that goes against the general market sentiment for crypto at this time. Now, again, I really talked to you guys about when things look extremely, bad, everyone is going to say, all right, everything's collapsing, everything's going to zero, everything is over, it's game over, blah, blah, blah. We've been hearing it for so long. A lot of people are calling for a lot lower on Bitcoin. For example, we even do see this tweet over here calling for $13,000 on Bitcoin. Very similar to March of 2020. If you guys were around during March of 2020, everyone was calling for 1,000 to 3,000, and we never really got to those regions. We ended up bottoming out, and as you guys do see on Bitcoin from March of 2020, as you guys do see up here, we went on a massive tear to 70K. And also the SPX. So the SPX bottomed around this level here. Bitcoin bottomed slightly before it. This is obviously on the 1 week chart. Again, March of 2020, you do see the same exact thing here. So I'm not going to say for certain that, crypto officially bottomed out, that, the SPX bottomed out. What we really need to pay attention to is Monday. Because that's when we do have that Fed meeting, and that is, when they could essentially, pivot. That's what I'm watching for right now. But the reason why I brought this chart up is because at these times in the market, we've seen the worst sentiment possible. And right now, with a lot of tweets coming out, for example, this one, Deutsche Bank and Credit Suisse are tanking more right now than the financial crisis of 2009. There are so many market indicators that we are heading towards a major financial crisis. I also do agree that we are getting to the point of a financial crisis. No one knows the time frame on it. I've always said 2023 to 2024 might be looking pretty rough, but we definitely have to wait and see what exactly happens. But you do see here, this is the Credit Suisse Group overall chart. This is very interesting here, and you could also see the DB chart as well up there. But yeah, when we really kind of look at these banks are collapsing. There's a ton of issues happening right now financially. For example, liquidity is at the roughest point that it's been at in a very long time, and these banks are having a lot of issues really kind of playing into that. But I want to say right now, everything looks like it's on the brink of collapse. It's everything's going to go to zero. It's going to absolutely wipe everything out. I want to share with you guys a few things. So here is March of 2020. These are the headlines, by the way. Crypto carnage, fears of $1,000 Bitcoin. MakerDAO crisis, hodlers digest March 9th to the 15th. And this is just talking about a crash on Bitcoin to possibly $1,000. A lot of people were fearful of what Bitcoin could essentially, see next. And by the way, during this time, just to give you guys a quick insight, at the end of the week, Bitcoin is at $5,300, Ethereum is at $125, and XRP is at 15 cents. The total market cap was at 153 point almost $2 billion. That's insane, because we know Bitcoin ran to, 70K, Ethereum almost running to $5,000, XRP going to nearly $2, and the total market cap hitting $3 trillion. You understand why, when we look at crypto from the broad perspective of, all right, let's get extremely bearish and not buy anything. Let's just kind of sit this out and wait for the bottom, and all while we miss out on monumental gains. This is the biggest issue that I see with this market, is that everyone gets so bearish at the bottom. Everything looks like it's going to die out, and everything looks like it's going to disappear. Crypto is dead. Long live the digital transaction era. March 11th, 2020. Over here, again, March 18th, 2020. Bitcoin dead. Never to recover. Crypto trader on general narratives. And this was more so kind of just talking about the narrative of the markets at that time. Like, it was essentially like Bitcoin is dead. It's never going to recover. We're going into a 2008 financial crisis. Nobody knew what was going to happen in 2008. Here's the New York Times. Grim economic outlook grips markets as stocks plummet. Again, March 16th, 2020. Over here, the Washington Post, March 6th, 2020. Wild week on Wall Street ends with stocks down, bond prices up, and coronavirus fears persisting. And then last but not least, I want to share with you guys this. March 20, 2020. Stocks log worst week since 2008. March 20, 2020. Now, everyone is playing into the 2008 crisis. Everyone right now is talking about, okay, what's going to happen next? Are we about to go to zero? Is crypto about to crash? Is the stock market about to go absolutely, down the hill to new lows, and it's never going to return? It's on a massive macro bear market. No one knows what's going to happen next. We need to pay attention to things that the Federal Reserve are going to be doing next. And in my opinion, they have to pivot. We actually do see over here from Charles Gasparino, Scoop 1-2, Federal Reserve officials getting increasingly worried about financial stability as opposed to inflation as higher rates begin to crush bonds. Several big investors tell me Fed growing worried about possible Lehman moment with a 4% FF rate as bonds and derivatives tied to them crash. Given the enormous debt issued in just the past 3 years at super low rates, a Fed watcher told me that the UK intervention was not a one-off and the same systemic risk could happen here, which might cause the Fed to pause. And this is what we are watching for right now. In fact, a lot of people have been paying attention to what the Fed is actually doing, and I have been one that has been talking about the Federal Reserve for a while on this channel. We've definitely been eyeing a few things happening around the world as well in regards to the financial markets. And over here, we also do see another tweet from Gold Telegraph talking about the Federal Reserve. The Federal Reserve is already breaking things. Look at countries around the world defending currencies alongside liquidity in debt markets. You don't think more than one reserve currency does not bring a more stable world? And in fact, the funny thing about this is that we've been paying attention to the BRICS nations. Remember back in, I think it was August now, we were doing a video on the BRICS nations. We were talking about the plan behind CBDCs and what the BRICS are actually doing. Since then, a lot of things have kind of morphed into reality. I told you guys at that time that we will essentially see the BRICS moving in on utilizing cryptocurrencies like XRP, for an example. I said XRP is the best choice because guess what? At the end of the day, it has an incredible mechanism behind it when you do utilize something like the XRP ledger, which is fully decentralized and there can never be sanctions put on it. So they could essentially utilize that, ledger technology to not only make transactions, but also do cross-border transactions in regards to, sourcing liquidity, having that nice settlement time, also utilizing it for trade. There is so many opportunities here for the BRICS to utilize the XRP ledger, powering it by XRP. Now, what is the chances of that happening? Who knows? But all we know is that they are getting ready to move in on crypto. And the funny thing is that going back to just yesterday, we did see this huge tweet that came out. This is from Business Insider. China tells state banks to prepare for a massive dollar dump and a yuan buy-in. I don't know what the rest of this says. Actually, open it real quick. So massive dollar dump and yuan buy-in spree as Beijing's prior interventions have failed to stem its currency's worst year since 1994. And then down here, the move could stem the yuan's fall as it remains on track for its largest annual loss against the dollar since 1994. A hawkish Fed has pushed the dollar to 20-year highs this year, pressuring currencies around the world. Yeah, they are essentially breaking things globally, and this is a big issue. And we do see up here, oh boy, hold on tight, let the currency war begin. Curious to see what the dollar does Monday. Got gold, and yeah, we definitely are watching the US dollar very close. I've been talking to you guys about the US dollar for a while. If we do see the US dollar start to collapse, we will see the crypto market and stocks go absolutely parabolic, because for the longest time I've told you guys that a strong dollar equals weak risk on assets, and a weak dollar equals strong risk on assets. It is going to be a very interesting Monday, that is for sure, because we do have that Fed meeting, and the Fed really needs to change something. Now, what I want to talk to you guys about is the BRICS, for an example. So We were just talking about the BRICS, and this is, centered on China. Obviously, they have been moving away from the U.S. dollar for a while now, and we do see over here, this goes back to September 29th. BRICS nations discussing introduction of single currency to ease trade, says Russian envoy. Now, this did not really give us too much insight on things, but we know that they have been really kind of focused on digital. They've been looking at digitization of trade and also cross-border payments. And in fact, we actually did see this article over here being posted from Gold Telegraph. This is from Reuters.com. Breaking news, China trials cross-border settlement involving central bank digital currencies. The bridge test was developed by the Bank for International Settlements, you don't say. The multiple central bank digital currency MCBDC bridge test included China, Hong Kong, Thailand, and the United Arab Emirates, and was designed to deliver real-time, cheaper, and safer cross-border payments and settlements, the BIS said. Now, again, this was very interesting. A lot of people kind of question on, are they going to utilize crypto or anything like that? We don't know. All we know is that for the longest time that we do know about is the fact that the BRICS have been very pro-crypto. There was Russia actually had a thing that they approved. It was a bill that they approved around utilizing crypto for cross-border payments. And again, when we look at the BRICS, they have been moving very, very close with China and, again, the rest of them on a full-on digital system, moving away from the SWIFT system. And in fact, we do see over here, this goes back to September 26th, breaking news after launching the digital ruble early next year. Russia plans to use the currency in mutual settlements with China. Some central bank experts have also suggested the new technologies mean countries would be able to deal more directly with each other, making them less dependent on Western-dominated payment channels, such as the SWIFT system. I've said it time and time again on this channel, that SWIFT is dying. It's a dying breed. Yeah, sure, it's connected to 25% of the global banks and financial institutions, but at the end of the day, all of these major areas around the world are moving away from the U.S. dollar and also the SWIFT system, because these are two financial weapons that they utilize against every single nation out there. I've said it time and time again, that SWIFT, if they do not innovate, they will die. But even if they don't innovate, okay, or even if they do innovate, the biggest problem is that it's centralized to the United States. The U.S. still utilizes it as a financial weapon to the date. And this was the biggest move going all the way back to March of this year, actually, when sanctions did start to fully launch. And since then, a ton of things have morphed into reality around the BRICS, more so kind of centered on the use of cryptocurrencies as well as digital currencies, like the digital ruble. This is very interesting. I've said it time and time again that we should all be paying attention to this area because it's moving extremely fast. I do believe that we will have a new reserve currency. The issue here is that, is the U.S. going to let that happen so easily? No, I don't believe that they will. I think that the U.S. has no chance unless they innovate further with digital tokens and digital currencies, like, for example, crypto. And we did talk about XRP as well during this time, where I was kind of discussing the idea of, the U.S. kind of moving towards a digital system that is more efficient than anything else. How will they do that? Well, they would utilize something like the on-demand liquidity mechanism to make sure that every single payment is 100% efficient. And like when we look at this, it's going to be a currency war. So they want to have the most efficient system possible. And how do they do that? Well, they need to utilize crypto. They need to utilize something like XRP. The only reason why I bring up XRP and RippleNet with this is that, RippleNet is essentially Swift, except in modern time, and with a lot more efficient technology behind it, backing it. And again, when we really kind of look at the end goal here, it's really kind of what's going to happen in the U.S. to counteract what the BRICS is doing. I've focused on the BRICS so long because they are moving extremely fast on not only cross-border settlement, they're focused on CBDCs, they're focused on crypto, and this is also in collaboration with the BIS. It's absolutely insane what's happening right now around the world outside of the U.S. as we still drag our feet with regulatory talks. So with all of that in mind, I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys did, definitely leave a like, subscribe, turn notifications on if you guys want more free content. You guys are more than welcome to follow me on Twitter and join the free Discord down in the description below. As always, up to you all. Have a beautiful day, beautiful night. Wherever you guys are in this beautiful world. This has been Nick. Peace out, guys.